pleasant scenes, beaches, palm trees, beautiful green grass fields, wherever you want to go. Deeper and deeper asleep. You either like me and not saying ouch, or that didn't hurt. You feel a little pressure, nothing but.
A little.
Okay. I pinched you hard enough, I'd say ouch. And that's enough for me. I know that person can get injections. I know that person can lay down. The doctor can start to work on it continuously, go more numb. The more suggestions, the more numb. The more interested she is in the relaxation, the more deeper they go. So I'm going to count from 1 up to 5. With the number 5, your eyelids open, you're rested, refreshed, feeling wonderfully good in every way. Before I do that, in the dental chair, I'll say, okay, that's good. That's really good anesthesia you have on your wrist. Now go ahead and just transfer that right up to your gums, and your gums are anesthetized. So comfortable and so numb. Doctor may begin his work. He may feel a little pressure, maybe nothing at all. And that's what you say. Say nothing else, let the doctor begins his work. You can continue to lullaby if you want to, but it's not necessary at that point. In the dental chair. And in the heart surgery, I had to do all kinds of stuff. Can you view that person that I did the heart surgery on? Is yes or no? Yeah. Can you view them? I'm curious how they're doing. Excellent. I like hearing that. So it's a feeling. Who knows if she saw him or not? But I found my kid with remote viewing when she was in a car wreck for 3 days, and we knew what hospital she was in. I had another patient in trance and asked her to view her. She found her at the hospital, what condition she was in, and everything. I went there, and she's accurate as right. That's also trance. You can do a lot of cool stuff with trance. So we count from 1 up to 5. The number 5, your eyes open, you feel refreshed, wonderfully good in every way. 1, slowly, 2, gently returning to full awareness once again. 3, every muscle and nerve feels rested and refreshed. 4, eyes begin to feel sparkling clear. On the next number now, 5, eyes open. Take a deep breath, fill up your lungs, stretch, make sure you come all the way awake, fully aware, and notice how good you feel. Better? Thank you very much. Fresh. Time check. How long did I have to talk? Oh wow, we got lots of time left. Let's do some more stuff. All right. I did that really fast. So, quick history, rules of the mind, now proper semantics. Say what you want, not what you don't want. Somebody looks at a kid and says, don't put your hand in that cookie jar. Simply, boom, it goes right in the cookie jar. And the parent goes, Dad, come on, I told you don't do that. No, why'd you do that? The kid tells you the God honest truth every time. I don't know. Pretty funny, huh? And the parents, oh man, you told them to. You said don't, which is a fighting word. I don't care if they're 2 or 100, they're going to pull up and ask you why. Because I said so. Oh dear God, now you just started a fight and lost their trust because you couldn't prove it. You must say what you want, not what you don't want. So leave that lid there, stick it to the jar. Good boy, now come here, let me tell you why. That's the best cookies I've made. Oh wait, top one's fine. I'm going to share it after dinner. Come on. It'll work every time if you positively delegate. Don't forget your keys. They come in from the car going, man, I heard you. I was looking right at them when you said, how did I do that? I was dumb. And then forget your keys. We're a joke. Hey, remember your keys are going to need those pickles. Hey, get back here. You'll like yourself if you do. You'll remember. Proper semantics. Speak in the here and in the now and in the positive. Say what you want at all times. The only way to get rid of something you wish to lose is to ignore it. You bring it in mind, you bring it together perfectly as technically infinite intelligence. Edgar called it the Akashic Records. Edgar Casey called it the Hall of Akashic Records. I've taken a few people there, but they won't let us read the scrolls. I guess I'm not ready. And all of this comes from the Egyptian adepts, the initiates, from the Temple of Man, the ancients. When Egypt got ransacked, he said so himself. We're going to only be remembered by our little scribbles on the wall. And they were right. And so the adepts and the initiates fled into different fraternities and brotherhoods and ended up fortifying an atomic cooldown next to the Dead Sea. They call themselves the Essenes. And they practiced Hypnosis, G-N-H-O-S, something. Hypnosis, H-N-O-S-S. The Gnostics. Pretty neat folks. Has anybody heard of the Copper Scroll Project? Cool. That guy came to my office to find out why I could read those. It was kind of neat. Has anybody heard of the Dead Sea Scrolls? Do you know why they're called the Dead Sea? They were found next to the Dead Sea. Do you know what they are? The Old Testament in its entirety, with all the missing books. And until we found them, the oldest copy we ever had of the Old Testament was 1100 AD, Greek copy. These were written in 0. Pretty neat. My dad called me at boot camp and says, "Pat, you gotta get out of the Navy." I said, "Why? Is it an emergency?" "Yeah, we found the Dead Sea Scrolls. We're gonna have a religious war." I'm like, "No, come on, Dad." He said, "It'll be fine." And it was, and it is, but it's still very interesting information, and there has been a lot of stuff go along with that. The Copper Scroll predates those, was found in one of the caves, and it goes back about 600 years earlier. It's a map, supposedly, and this gentleman who can read it shouldn't be able to read the Hebrew texts because he's not Hebrew, he's from Oklahoma, fire chief. But they've cut all red tape over there in Israel letting him dig. That's kind of odd. He must be right. And they're looking for Solomon's treasures. And so that trance work is really good, really interesting. Tapping into things like I asked Janine to view that heart surgery patient, just out of curiosity. Of course she's going to say she's right, and she's fine, and everything else because I'm up on stage and pressure. So thanks. But, did you really feel that?
Yeah, but I don't know if I'm right. I saw a woman.
Oh, good. You did see visual.
And she wasn't very tall.
Nope. Okay.
And her hair was a bit
Perfect.
whitish to about here.
That's her. At least description-wise. Or at least, maybe you could be reading my mind. But I was viewing. I think she's alright. So when you're in trance and you feel something, you feel like saying it and you don't know where it comes from, say it anyway, it probably is right. Now here's the difference between a mesmerist and a hypnotist. I started out with those 3 schools. You got the school of mechanics, the school of verbal, and then the school of mental transference. Well, the thing is I put them all together. And that little deal is all the mechanics, the verbal, the relaxation, and the mental process. The difference between a mesmerist and a hypnotist is a mesmerist goes into a sympathetic trance with their patient. It's the only difference. That's when you get the thought transference, telepathy, clairvoyance, and all that kind of other stuff. I still call it hypnosis. Dr. Braid called it hypnosis. Dr. Braid did 3,000 surgeries without a single drop of chemicals, and nobody said, "Ouch," he had to call it something. Right? And so he says, "Well, it looks like they're asleep." And the ancient Greek god of sleep is hypnos, and it's good medicine. And gnosis means knowledge, and we get the knowledge to re-educate, alter, or amend any old idea. So we'll call it sleep knowledge. Very interesting. It stuck. Nobody's ever been able to change the name again since. My dad tried. Everybody tried. Third state of mind, Hinduism, all that. Sleep knowledge is what it means. The book is called Neuropnology. I'm not going to spell it. Neuropnology. Neuropnology, yes. And it means sleep of the nervous system. And in that book, he supposedly coins in English language the word neurohypnosis or neurohypnotism, neurohypnotist. However, he followed Abby Faria pretty close to a T. Even though he was all mechanical, Abby Faria was the suggestion creature from the 1750s. Count Monte Cristo. If you've ever seen him, he's pretty cool. He's a real person. Look him up, Abby Faria. He's got a statue in front of his monastery or whatever of him covering a lady. He's all hypnotized under. It's pretty neat. And so if you put all of those together, when I was a little kid, I did that. I took everything that was mechanical and left everything else out that was theory, myth, lullaby, and staring at a spot fatigues the eyes. Dr. Braid used to take a cork to their foreheads and make them look at it for 5 hours until they fell out. And they were ready for surgery. It's kind of right, it works. When a person sit in a dental chair at 11 degrees in 30 seconds, they usually go into trance because of the blood flow. And then with the staring at a spot that fatigues the eyes, it's not even necessary, it just helps. Makes it more comfortable to shut them. That's all. 3 long, slow, deep breaths bores the left side of the brain. That's too slow, so it just rests. It's not necessary to keep up with that. And so it slows down. Closing the eyelids down activates your imagination, because now you've got a blank screen and you can create a better vision. Picturing your muscles relaxing. I used to leave that part out. And then I watched a German coach of an Olympic athlete team hook his athletes up to a muscle and brain